Here we are at UC Expo, day 2, and I thought I'd catch up with Zeus Kerravala, who's the Principal Analyst at ZK Research. Zeus, how's things?
Oh, things are great. I was really excited to come here after all these months of being inside, finally a live event.
It's great to see you, Zeus, and I know you've been speaking, you've been doing some sessions here, and also I'm sure you've had a good walk around. I mean, what do you think to the show?
Yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised by the attendance at the show. I wasn't sure what to expect. I was a little worried it might be a ghost town. But I came and I attended a lot of sessions. I did mine, and there's clearly an underlying theme here of hybrid work. Whatever session you go to, no matter what the topic, it always winds up being about hybrid work. So I think that underscores where we are right now as far as the return to work and what we might see in the future. I do think most businesses are thinking about how do I get employees back in the office, how long should that be, what are the right rules of engagement, things like that. So if you go around the vendor booths, there's a lot of great innovation going on and how to make that better. I think one of the interesting challenges, though, in some of the sessions I did was most of the audience had no idea that the innovation we've had over the last year. So there's kind of a big gap right now between what users know and what vendors are delivering.
Absolutely. So what lessons have we learned so far? Because I mean, hybrid work is, it's a huge topic, quite complex in ways.
Yeah, I think one of the lessons is it is going to be hybrid, right? There's a lot of chatter out there about could we go all remote? And actually I did a session with some business leaders yesterday around that topic, and at first everybody said, yes, we can go all remote. And then I brought up a number of exceptions, like what do you do about training? What do you do about some of the social things that companies did? Well, we'll go to the office for that. And so, yes, we're going to be all remote except for the exceptions when we'll be in the office. And what that means to me, it is going to be hybrid. I also think another lesson is nobody really knows what that means, right? I talk to a lot of HR people as part of my job now, and some companies are planning for big open spaces, some aren't. Some are trying to put in hoteling. Some are even in warmer areas are looking at outdoor office space maybe. So I think it's really up in the air as to what the best practices are around hybrid work. Depending on who you talk to, you're going to get different opinions. I think one of the interesting takeaways that I've gotten from this event too is there's been so much innovation on the virtual meeting side that I think you're at a disadvantage now when you're in the office because you don't have your transcription capabilities, you don't have translation, there's no artificial intelligence tools to help you. So I think we've almost swung the pendulum too far on the virtual meeting side. Now we have to start thinking about how to innovate in the physical meeting space as well.
But technology doesn't seem to be just the only answer to our hybrid headaches, is it? I mean, in terms of culture and that's a big challenge for organizations too.
Yeah, this is probably the single biggest challenge. The technology is there, we can do it. We know we can do it, right? The question comes down to, from a cultural perspective, is the organization ready for it? Do you have buy-in from all your employees? Is everybody, all your older workers, even willing to be cameras on all the time? Some people don't really like that, right? And one of the thing that's come up in some of my discussions with business leaders is companies haven't really thought about what the rules of engagement are for people that are working from home. And I'll give you an example, right? One business leader was saying that one of his people joined while on a riding lawnmower. I'm not kidding you. The person was on a mower, taking a call. And I asked the person, have you put any rules in place as to what you expect from employees? And he said no. And so I said, well, if you're leaving it up to the employee to interpret what hybrid working is, everyone's going to interpret it differently. So I think from a cultural standpoint, this is where business leaders and HR officers need to take a step back, think about what's appropriate, what isn't appropriate. If you do have childcare responsibilities, maybe you book those couple hours off of work and try not to merge them together. So I think the cultural aspect of this is the next big hurdle to get over. And I think there's so many variables in there that I don't even think we're close to having that figured out yet.
Yeah, I think as we look ahead into 2022, it's going to be another year of change, and for a lot of organizations out there. What do you think?
Oh yeah, change is coming, and it's coming in a big way. And like I said, I just did a session just about an hour ago, and the user was there, and I said, well, give me your 2-3 year vision of what the office of the future looks like. And he didn't really know. He said we're almost going through it month by month. And so I think there's a number of factors here at work. There's a lot of innovation going on technically, and there's a lot of things that we don't even know are being developed that will come into work, which will change the way we do it. But I also don't think we really fully understand what users want, and I think that's a big challenge. And one of the big takeaways here, and one of the pieces of advice I always give, is culturally, employees need to feel empowered to speak up. If the company puts in certain rules or things that don't work for them, the employees need to be able to say, it doesn't work for me, we'd prefer it this way, because only with the voice of everybody will we get this problem solved.
Zeus, it's been great speaking to you today. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, Rob. Always a pleasure to be with you guys.